Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that nonviolent resistance is the most potent weapon available to oppressed people in their struggle for freedom. Here with her take is Dr. King's niece and a Fox News contributor, Dr. Alveda King. Doctor, always good to have you with us, unfortunately, on a day like today.
Good morning, Abby and Fox and friends. Hi, everybody.
So, I think most of the country is waking up feeling unsettled, wondering how on earth today could we see something like what happened yesterday. Your uncle always had words of wisdom, of unity, of peace during troubling times. What do you think he would say today?
Well, I'm also a Christian evangelist and director of civil rights for the unborn. And so I'd like to speak and say that racism is sin, hatred is sin. And my uncle would say today also with that beautiful quote that you've already stated, we must learn to live together as brothers, and I'll add as sisters, or perish as fools. And then finally he said, I've decided to stick with love because hate is too great a burden to bear. So he would encourage us to cease fire, stop the violence. Racism is just sin, and so anything that promotes my race is better than your race when we're all human beings, one blood, Acts 17:26, we've got to get off that page and finally resolve the problem of racism in America. We've got to do it.
It's a similar message that we heard from President Trump yesterday, just this message of unity, what we should stand for as Americans, what the American flag means, what the symbolism of God and patriotism. That was his message yesterday. He didn't identify one group or another. He's been criticized by a lot of people for not making this more one-sided. Do you think that that's fair?
I had so many texts and tweets and messages. The president should do this, the president should do that. But in serving God and serving America, he's got to speak to the hearts of everyone. That's what my dad, Reverend A.D. King, my uncle Martin Luther King Jr., my granddaddy, Daddy King, we were working then to transform in the 60s because I marched and went to jail. I was blown up by the Ku Klux Klan in our home. But we knew that the goal was to transform the laws and transform the human hearts towards compassion. In order to move towards that, we've got to stop the violence. The president's right about that.
That's well said. Well, quickly before we go, this all started because of possibly taking down this Confederate statue. Some people say it's got to go down. This represents hate. But other people say, look, this is just part of our history. It should stay there. Where do you fall on that debate?
I believe when Nikki Haley was governor and they took the flag down, the Confederate flag, some things you can't just throw it away, erase it, but put it in a museum within context and say this was at a time when we were fighting because we didn't understand that we were one human race, but now we've got to transcend. So they belong in museums, and so I believe that we're going to have to get to a win-win situation, dealing with the hearts, resolving the matter, and become this beloved community that I was brought up to believe for.
Yeah, these are tough conversations to have, but your voice is so needed this morning. Let's just hope that we can all find some peace from here. Dr. Alveda King, good to see you today.